For what values of x do the following series converge? The series -1 to the n minus 1 times x to the n over n. We always use the ratio test first. The term a sub n is -1 to the n minus 1, x to the n over n. A sub n plus 1 is -1 to the n plus 1 minus 1 times x to the n plus 1 over n plus 1. The absolute value of a sub n is x to the n over n absolute value. The same with the a sub n plus 1 term. The limit of the ratio a sub n plus 1 over a sub n is therefore the absolute value of x to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 times n over x to the n. Simplifying this, we have the limits at n go to infinity, x to the n times x over n plus 1 times n over x to the n, which we can cancel out x to the n. This is the limits at n go to infinity of the absolute value of x, n over n plus 1. No need to use the absolute value around n and n plus 1 because we know that they are positive. The limit doesn't depend on x, so we pull absolute value of x to the front of the limit, and this limit is 1. 1 times the absolute value of x is x. The ratio test says that the series converges if this limit is less than 1. So we need x to be strictly between -1 and 1. We also need to check the endpoint because the ratio test says that if the limit is 1, then the test is inconclusive. Thus, we need to check the conversion of the series when the absolute value of x is 1 or x equals plus or minus 1. When x equals -1, we plug -1 into x in the series and then we simplify. We see that the series is now -1 to the n minus 1 plus n over n, which is simply the negative of the series 1 over n. This is the negative of the harmonic series. It diverges. When x equals 1, we plug x equals 1 into the series and we simplify the numerator. We end up with the series -1 to the n minus 1 over n, because 1 to the n power is still 1. This is the alternating harmonic series. It converges. We just show that the series converges for all of the x value between -1 and 1. It diverges when x equals -1 and converges when x equals 1. So we say that the series converges for all of the x values in the interval -1 to 1, excluding x equals -1, including x equals 1.